I just stole his intro.
That word.
Yeah.
This fucking man.
I've got a podcast coming out of him as well soon. Right. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Corrine. I was sentenced to 14 months in Bronzefield Women's Maximum Security Prison here in the UK. And today we've got a special guest. This is Fran. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Fran, as you know. I served 3 years, 8 months in prison for conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. And yeah, so basically I've set up a YouTube channel. Mine's a little bit different to the True Whisperers. Mine's called Ex-UK Female Prisoner, and it's just about prison, basically to prepare you if you're facing prison, support women that are facing prison, family members that have prisoners on the inside and stuff like that. But yeah, you can check out my channel and have a nose for yourself.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I've watched quite a few of your videos, and some of your guests that have come on have got some really sad but interesting stories. So do you want to start back with what happened, how your childhood was, and then leading into teenage years?
Do you know what? Like, my childhood was good. My story's different. Like, normally you'll get people from a broken family, and I mean, my family did split, but it's not, I grew up with two parents, absolutely adored me, like, loved me. Big, massive family. My dad's Italian, so we always had the Italians over. I was always at football, all that kind of stuff. Everything was good. And, sorry, I was just reading the comments at the same time.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, if I'm ignoring anybody, it's because I'm just going in a zone. I'm just telling my story. So if you just jumped on the live and there's anyone from my channel, you're going to get to probably hear my story for the first time. If you haven't already watched it on Sean Atwood's channel, again, I've got a lot of love for that man. So
yeah, Sean and Jen are absolutely amazing. Obviously, everyone on his probably already subscribed to Sean Atwood, but if not, definitely go and check his channel out as well.
A lot of people jumped over from Sean's to mine. So
same, yeah.
He's just a top guy and just sound. If you need advice and stuff, he's mint. But anyway, back to me. No, I'm joking.
No, go on.
Sean, you've had enough of the limelight for one night. Yeah, so where was I? So I had amazing upbringing. I used to go to Sunday school as a kid. I asked to be rebaptized at the age of about 10-ish. So I got rebaptized. And things were good. Things were normal. I was a spoiled little brat. I was daddy's girl, everything I wanted, which I think kind of stems how what led me into the drug world. So everything I wanted, I got, and as much as, because basically my old man in the village that he comes from, like when he grew up, his house was in the forest, but it was made out of brick, no cement, nothing like that. And the paths of the roads are paths. His shoes were always 2-3 sizes too big for him. The family were poor. He never had nothing. So his parents told him, come to England and move over to England, like make something of yourself. And he did. He had a wicked job. Like he was taking home like nearly £1,000 a week. And I'm talking in 1980.
Yeah.
That's big money now. So obviously,
what do you reckon that's the equivalent to now? About £3,000?
That's equivalent to £1,000 a week. Sorry, he was taking home between £800 and £1,000 a week. That's what I remember at like a very young age, and that's probably the equivalent of like £8,000 a month now.
Yeah, because you used to be able to buy sweets for a penny back then.
Maybe even like £10,000. I don't know, because you think about how the houses and the wages have gone up. Well, back then I was buying 10 B&H for 90p. That's how much.
Mad.
You do the maths on that. So yeah, so I got everything. Like I remember one time I got a mountain bike, and then like a week later I was like, I want a racer, Dad. I want a racer. Literally 2 weeks later I got a racer.
What's a race car?
A bike called a racer. You had a mountain bike. Yeah, don't worry about it. You're probably a bit too young.
No, I'm 35, so I should know. But I was like rollerblades. That was my thing.
So yeah, so this is where I think, like I said, some of it comes into anyway. So at a young age, my parents are going to split. Basically, my mum has an affair, And then so I resented my mum from a very, very young age,
Yeah.
like proper young age, and it absolutely destroyed me. Like, I remember my dad sitting me down on the back doorstep, and I was like, oh, I think I was just 12, and he was like, "I'm moving out." He was like, "Who do you want to live with, your mum or me?"
Oh, wow.
I'm a sport like, I'm daddy's girl, mate, like, all the way. And then I was like, "Where's my brother going?" And he was like, "With me." So I was like, "Well, I haven't got a choice then. I can't leave mum on her own." I remember the conversation because
How old was you, sorry?
I was 12,
12. Mm.
just pretty much. And it's mad because there's a lot of things I don't remember, but that's something that obviously that will stay with me, I think, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So through the guilt, my for like of not wanting to leave me, and obviously my dad knowing, then he stayed. Like my old man's is not did he just stay with my mum? He stayed with he next door to the man that my mum had an affair with. So it wasn't even a man up the road; it was a man next door.
Oh, no.
So my poor man sacrificed like, my poor dad sacrificed, that imagine that pain, and my old man adored my mum, like, but so, like, I hated my mum, like, I hate so I gotta be a bit mindful 'cause she's in the next room. So I hated my mum, so at that age, I straight away, like, my mates started smoking hash and that, and they was like, "Do you wanna try it?" I was like, "Yeah," so I got on it, then
This
it
is still at 12?
this is, just yeah, 12, just maybe coming 13, something like that.
Mhm.
So then I escalated to by the time I was 14, I was taking acid, I was taking
Oh,
ecstasy,
man.
I was taking everything to block it out because so my old man would just like sleep on the sofa and stuff like that. So it was a broken family. And he said to me basically, he goes, "Look," he goes, "I'll stay here." He said, "But when you're 16 and you're in a job," he said, like, I'm moving back to Italy." He said, "Like, you can come with me." He said, "But I'm going back to Italy and your brother's coming." And as I got a little bit older, it got closer to the time off, I was just like, I had to keep telling myself, like, look, he's done such a noble thing because I'd kill the neighbour, I'd kill, like, I literally couldn't do it. Like, imagine staying there, but that's how much he adored me. That he had to,
Mm.
that man or think about that man, like, yeah. Anyway, so I turned to drugs, got on drugs massively. The addict come out in me. I think it would have come out even if that hadn't happened. I'm a recovering addict. It's hard. I don't just get addicted to drugs. Like, yeah, I might be clean off them now, but that's just like gambling, all different things that I had to face when I
Yeah.
was in prison. But we'll get to that anyway. So that happens. I'm 16. I leave school. Hated school, by the way. I was shit at school, and even without that scenario in it, I couldn't concentrate. Never read a book till I went to prison since I left school. My brain just doesn't function. If I read 3 sentences in, I'm thinking about something and I can't focus. So anyway, so I leave school, have a job, I'm working 6 months, my dad's going. He stuck to his word, and what can I argue with him? Like, I can't, and he's
Mm.
like he sold the house, he put me and my mum in rented accommodation, um, and he went with my brother. I didn't wanna go. I was deep in the streets then. So at this point, at like 14, I've got all older friends. They're ranging from 17 to 21, and I was the one that could get the drugs. So I used to get the drugs for me and my mates. And then as I started getting more, people would ask me more. Um,
Yeah.
so there's asking me I was getting more. Then the mate would be like, "Oh, you buy this much, you can have it for this much." So then I realised that I could get my drugs for free. Then I
Yeah.
then I realised then, a few months later, before you know it, you realise I can make money. But
Mm.
I never set up to. Sorry, the carers have just come in for mum. Um, so I never set up to start doing that. It just happened. I was getting it for me and a couple of mates. Then someone would tell someone. Then I was getting for the other mates. And then before you know it, everybody knows me. Everybody's asking me
Yeah.
to school. So it kind of like just happened. I didn't wake up one day thinking I need to make money. I'm going to sell drugs. Like people just do that. I need money,
Yeah.
money quick. So I'm going to sell drugs. It's an easy option. That was never what I meant or intended to set out to
And
do.
you were young as well,
Yeah.
so you're not thinking of the consequences or the chain reaction of selling drugs or anything like that. Because at that age, you're kind of living in the moment. You're
Yeah,
not really
literally.
thinking about
You've
what's
got a clue. I'm still a fucking kid. My brain ain't even
yeah.
processed.
Who
Like,
on earth, what sort of adult was giving you the drugs in the first place to sell? Can you imagine now being an
yeah,
adult giving a
it wasn't,
14-year-old
yeah,
stuff?
'cause yeah, it just never would happen, and it wasn't never like they was like, "Oh, sell this, sell this." He was just
No,
saying,
no.
"If you buy more, if you buy an extra 5, like, sheets of acid, you can get 2 for free." You know, he was like, it was like he was doing me a favor, you know?
Yeah.
It was never a case of like, "Oh, take these, do this, do that."
Yeah. No, no, I get that, but still.
Yeah, no, it's wrong, it's
Have you
wrong.
ever had a bad trip? Sorry, just diverting a second.
Nah, nah.
Oh my God, I had a bad trip and it was the most terrifying thing. I pulled my own hair out.
What the hell?
I went on for like, I don't know, like 9 hours of like pure hell. I thought I was in hell. I thought everyone was demons. It was absolutely horrendous. Never did it again. But I had mental health problems and I didn't realise at the time. And then obviously there was loads of other factors. But yeah, that's the one thing that as I was coming down from it, I was like, please God, let me go back to normal. I swear to you, I'll never do it again. And I never did. I never did that again.
Oh, I've been good. I've enjoyed mine. But yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So yeah, where was I at? So I'm in a job. Dad goes back to Italy. Don't want to go. Tries to make me go. Like he does everything because he wants me to be with him. So me and my mum are living in this like masonette thing, and then the next thing you know, she's like, "I'm moving to Worthing with my job with a pub. They're moving to Worthing, and I'm going." I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." So I'm like 17. Bearing in mind, I'm a spoiled little brat. I've never had to do anything. I didn't have to use a washing machine. I didn't know how to use an iron. Not proud to admit it, but I was 25 before I even knew. Because I used to iron I was like, one day I was around my friends' mums, and I was like, the creases never come out. She was like, there's a button to steam it. That listen, leaving a 17-year-old was like leaving an 11-year-old mentally. Streetwise, I was there. I was on the ball, but
Yeah.
fend for myself because I was so spoiled. I literally, you just couldn't have left me. Um, so at this point, I'm like, mate, if my own mum and dad that I know absolutely adore me can leave me, then what the fuck is the world gonna do to me? So
Mm.
relationships wise, I was very narcissistic. I pushed everyone away. It was just literally, and my excuse was, yeah, well, if my parents can leave me, you can leave me. Like I blame the world for everything. It was everything was everyone else's fault but my own. Then I got into another group of friends. I'm living from bed like place to place, like just dossing at mates' houses. Ended up on crack. And then I ended up trying to take my life. My dad comes back, end up getting straight onto heroin. After that, literally, like my people get quite shocked actually when I turn around and say that. So then I ended up on that shit. I was involved with some nasty, nasty, nasty people. Like yeah, just not people that you want to fuck with. The people that.
Mm.
So yeah, so I was just
Were
very
they older than you as well?
yeah, but I was just always hung around with older people. I mean, now I'm too old, so I need to get younger friends. But otherwise, everyone will be walking around with a Zimmer frame. But literally, I just was very mature. It's weird. Um, Sorry, I was reading the message.
Oh, thank you.
No, no, yeah, that's just how it is. Let's be honest. If we're gonna sugarcoat and bullshit and stuff, sometimes I get a little bit embarrassed about stuff I say, but then it's part of my journey, and this is why I can relate and things. People, there ain't nothing that I ain't done. People were so
Yeah,
focused. I
but
remember in prison when I was doing recovery mentors, and when I tell the girls like I'd been on, they was like, "No way, you weren't. You don't look like it." Da, da, da. I was like, "No, but I'm just the lucky one that got out and was strong enough." Like, so yeah, so I hit a
was
wall.
that off of the heroin?
Yeah.
Because
So
I was addicted to tramadol, which is a synthetic opiate. It's a
yeah,
painkiller you get. But
still in
I
my
would take 20 in a go, and I OD'd quite a few times. Once really badly OD'd, and it's embarrassing to say it happened in the school playground. Thank God I was there, because if it had been 5 minutes before, I would have probably died, because as I had a seizure on the playground floor, they called the ambulance, but I was going into a hypoglycemic coma. So if I'd been at home, I would have died in front of my kids. And
Wow.
I was so addicted, and this is I'm just telling the truth, and I regret it, and I'm embarrassed, but it is what it is. I was so addicted, got out of the hospital, and I had to carry on taking it. It
Yeah.
was an accident. I didn't mean to overdose. What had happened is I didn't get as many, so I'd not taken as many for a few days. So then when I took the amount I was taking before, it's overdosed
Yeah,
me.
the opiate, isn't it? It's the same as the heroin. If you well, I not that it makes any difference, but I smoked it in a joint. I never injected it, but
Yeah.
same
It
as
does make a difference. It
but
does, because it's not
no,
as
but I mean, as in, like, it doesn't matter what way you do it. If you ain't got it,
oh, okay,
it's
yeah.
horrible. What I'm saying is, it doesn't make a difference. But it's more with the injecting of the heroin that is more overdosing. What I was trying to say is,
Yes,
like, it doesn't make a difference
yeah.
how you take it, but it does in the fact of, like, the overdose. So yeah, and do you know what? So at this point, I'm like 20. I'm done with life. I want out. I don't want out of the drugs, as in selling them. At this point, I want out
Mm,
of what I'm on. I knew I was going to end up dead or in jail with the people I was involved with. I was getting myself in. I was selling like heroin and crack, and I didn't want to be like in that situation. I was like always in like places where we're getting raided and shit. So I knew I was gonna end
mm.
up dead or in prison. So,
And what age was you about this time? 17, did you say?
so I've got yeah, but this all happened between the age of 17 and 20,
Okay.
like cracking the heroin and stuff and taking an overdose. So the old man comes back. The old man's living back in England. Um, my God, thank you. Still, I hear that from embarrassed. The story will have something. Yeah, I hope it does. You know, I hope it does. That's why I do tell it. But so between the ages of 17 and 20, yeah, I've tried to take my life. I've done heroin, I've done crack, hit a wall, and I'm like, fuck it. I took myself to the doctors. So I was like, I went to the doctors and they got me on what was called a four-way contract. So it's between you, the doctors, a counsellor, and the chemist. And
Okay.
you have to so you go on methadone, and then you have to see like this counsellor. It's a bit a little bit like probation, but it's not. So you have to go and see this person, then you have to still liaise with the doctors every, like, I can't remember, because we're talking like 20 something years ago.
Mm.
So you have to see the doctor, let's just pretend, every 4 weeks, and then your chemist is where you go and pick it up anyway. So I went on that for like a year. I was on that for just over a year, and then I just weaned myself off of it. Like I dropped my doses.
It's not easy.
Dose, yeah, but I dropped it before the doctors even knew I'd got that low, and I just come off it, and I never went back.
And you did that not in a detox?
No, I did the methadone, so I weaned off it. So I was on the methadone for just over a year.
Because
So
I was on buprenorphine, other names for it, Subutex, Suboxone. They put me on that because I was so at risk of overdosing, and I couldn't. Try and cut down from the tramadol, but I had such a bad addiction that when I had a lot of problems going on, and I would then relapse and take more. So I said, you know what? Put me on that because it's got a blocker in it. So if I had taken the tramadol on top of the buprenorphine, it blocks it, so I wouldn't have got a buzz out of it. It wouldn't have given me any sort of relief or buzz. So, and it literally just stops it from working. And it's the best thing I did. And in the end, I did end up going to a detox and coming off it. But oh my God, it was awful. It was horrible. But yeah,
yeah, sorry, I was reading someone's messages. So yeah, so where was I at? So I come off of that.
yeah, come off the methadone.
So yeah, so then I'm nearly 22. So I moved from one town to the next town. It's only like a 20-minute drive, but I start running it, like, in the aspect of I am selling so much drugs. Like, my phone, it was coke and weed, but my phone is like a heroin line. Like, anyone that ever knows me from my area, anyone that watches this will literally clarify what I'm saying. I used to forget people on the side of the road, and then they'd turn up, like, they'd ringing and ringing me, and I'd turn up an hour later and just give it to them for free. Like, it was that mad. It was that busy. And literally, I went from, like, I'd go through phases where I had loads of money, I had the trucks, I had the Rolexes. Then I'd go through go through phases where I had no money, whether I was overspending, whether I was gambling, for
Mm,
whatever reason. So life was just like an emotional roller coaster. So, but it just literally was drugs, drugs, drugs. So I got off drugs, but then I was addicted to the lifestyle. And this is where I was so used to always having what I wanted. Um, literally, I had to have it. I had to keep living that lifestyle. And once I realised I could make this money and I could make it quick and easy, I could make 6 grand just in on Friday and Saturday night. Like it was that mad. But then as you get older, and you take yourself away from the pubs and all
Mm.
that kind of stuff, and you're not around all the people your own age, you start to sell less when people call you more, but then you're more cautious as well, so you don't wanna just sell to everybody. So then that's how I started escalating, getting into bigger bits like kilos, because you make a quick, let's just say you made a 500 quid on a key, job done, one drop, you're not running around all Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday, all
yeah.
weekend, you know? Um,
Can I just say one thing? Sorry, I'm Kareen, and I'm the one that was arrested for GBH intent. It wasn't. It wasn't. Fran. Just because I don't know, people are getting a bit confused. I just want to say that Fran was in for what was it? Drug dealing.
I served 3 years, 8 months for conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. I got caught with 7 key, 5 key of MDMA and 2 key of coke. 2 key of coke.
And so basically, I got arrested for GBH of intent, but I can't go into too much about that. But I ended up doing another crime, and I ended up going to prison for ABH, and a couple of other things. So yeah, so just 10 weeks. Are they? Am I getting confused?
I think they're talking
Are
between
you talking? Are you guys talking about something to do with yourselves?
What
I
is it
think
say?
they're having their own
Yeah,
conversation.
have their little chit.
Right. Anyway,
Really boring them.
go on. Sorry.
Should we go? Should we make this private? No, I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. So where are we at? So yeah, so life's a madness of just always living in the fast lane, never stopping, always stressed. But it's kind of weird because I think I've always worked better off stress. I kind of like it. I like to be busy. I could never be by myself. I never really realised how much until I went to prison. I always had a girlfriend, whether I wanted to be with them or not. I could not stand them, and I'd still be with them. I think the selling the drugs, arguing all the time, it was just a distraction from my own mind. Never really, I always kind of played it cool. Like yeah, I just always told myself I was all right, but clearly I wasn't. Um, I've lost a best friend through that journey. I was about 25. Um, Haley, tattooed on my arm. I blamed myself for that. That was kind of a bit of a tough time.
Sorry, I was looking at a comment. I'm so sorry. That's so rude. You lost your girlfriend, did you say?
Was my best friend, one of my
Oh,
best
your best
friends.
friend.
Yeah, so
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
it's all right. It's just it was the blaming of myself. Like I always blame myself that, basically cut a long story short, I was out all day. I was doing my college work. I went to college because I wanted to be a mechanic. We wanted to open a garage, so I was going to front the money. I was going to be the mechanic. She was going to be the body sprayer. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to college. So I was doing it. This was the end of my first year. I had to get everything printed off, get it all done. So anyway, so I was in the library, believe it or not, and she's calling me, and I was like, obviously you can't answer the phone in the library. My mate picks me up later. She rings me on my mate's phone because obviously I'm not answering the phone, but she thought I was ignoring her on purpose, but I wasn't. She's like, Fran, I really, really need to talk to you. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm in Maidenhead at the minute. I'll come meet you tonight. I was like, look, I've got to go around such and such's, type up the rest of my coursework, print it off because it's got to be handed in by the morning, and then I'll come meet you. She's like, I'm going to the pub with her boyfriend. So anyway, so then me like a dickhead, I started sniffing coke, and it makes me paranoid as hell. Like I literally makes me paranoid. And I had a convertible, and I had like drugs like hid in the roof with scales and stuff like that. My mate, sorry, I was reading someone's comment. So it's quite late, and then I get I looked at my phone. I think I said to my mate, "Let's go." My mate was driving, so I was like, "Oh, I'm meant to meet Haley." I said, "But I'm not gonna go. Like I'm off my nut. Like I can't walk in there. Like I'm so paranoid. We've got drugs in the car. 11, 12 o'clock at night. Actually, I know what it was. It was about 11 o'clock at night because she got hit. I remember at 10 to 12 was the last time she tried to call me. And then literally like a few minutes later, she got run over. And she's rung my phone, and I never forget it. And I even hate like even admitting like to say it, but I ignored her. And I looked at my mate and I said, she'll be all right, wouldn't she? Like she said she's walking home. I said, she'll be all right, wouldn't she? Like I was just like I was weighed between driving around with loads of drugs in the car and being paranoid and thinking about myself
Mm.
or my mate. So anyway, so literally so that happens, she gets run over and killed. I literally go off the rails then. Like I'm done. Like I'm
Mm.
waking up smashed out of my face on laid like on sleep where I woke up where I've slept on the pavement where she got run over and killed. I'm waking up at like 4 in the morning where I was just getting smashed, landing up there, like beating myself
What,
up.
drink as well?
Fuck yeah, like literally, just blaming myself, like, you know, why didn't I get her? Why didn't I just like so fucking what? I'd rather be in prison for God knows how long than
You
and have her.
didn't know.
Yeah, and then so like after a couple of months, like I don't know what the epiphany was like. Um I don't know what made me snap out of it. I think I kind of scared myself, and I think like I thought I don't want to be back in that world. Like I don't want to be on hard drugs. I don't want to
Mm.
just end up being fucked. And I literally, how was I was going? So anyway, so I started putting myself together. I stopped drinking so much, and like I even remember one of my mates saying to me, like, Fran, I didn't think you was gonna come back from this. Like,
Mm.
and they was like, look, she's like, everything happens for a reason. Like you could have been the one that hit her. Imagine that. Imagine if you'd
Mm.
gone to pick her up because mate, he wasn't drinking, he wasn't speeding, he wasn't on his phone. It was all in the autopsy. Like he was doing 30 miles per hour. It was a dark road. She had an argument with her boyfriend.
Right.
She's walking home thinking, I'm gonna pick up and I'll go and get her because, of course,
Oh.
same Fran would have done. Like literally, same Fran would have done, and literally, like even to this day, even though I've done therapy on it, like literally, like it's just shit. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
can't imagine.
so that yeah, so that's that's like one of the toughest things that I've like, even with all the gear, getting off the gear, like that was nothing compared to going through that. Like
Mm.
now, like even now, I lay it in my head and it's like, you know, I've got to remember. Imagine if we'd killed her, and you think I got some guilt now. Like imagine if
Yeah,
it was us because he didn't see her. It was dark, so we could have been that person driving there.
so true.
And that's the only way I've kind of like there's that and something that counsellor said to me. That's the only way I've been able to just stop blaming myself. So that yeah, so the next few years were just tough. Like you know, it's a mess, but you carry on. So just yeah, in and out of shit relationships. I got arrested quite a few times for drugs, but never enough for them to put me away. Um, I got told by a drug dealer, by a police officer once. He kept pulling me over, and he was just like, "Fran," he goes, "You are one of the most politest drug dealers I've ever met. Just can't find your fucking drugs." So it's like, so yeah, they was always on me. They was always on me for years, but they just couldn't like, they just didn't like get me big. And
Yeah,
everything
you were
happens.
one step ahead sort of thing.
Yeah. So literally, so I get involved with this guy I've known for years. He's in the circle of like Haley, with Haley, and he's like, and he introduces me to someone that I know not long ago got out of prison, but I didn't really know who he was anyway. So I start getting like doing work with these guys and stuff. And then one day I went to this pub car park to meet him, and then you know, like he's passed the holdall through the car, and I kind of looked over at this van, and I thought,
Mm.
and I was like, oh no. And as I pulled out of this car park, this car follows me, like this old beat up car, and I was just like had this horrible feeling in my stomach, and I was like, this is not going to end well. And then the car started to overtake me, so I was like, sweet, happy days, like oh, I was like, oh. But the next thing is, it was within
Uh,
seconds, bang, was it T-bone? They T-boned me and ran me off the road, smashed the windows through. It's like, get out of the car.
Oh
Like,
my God.
yeah, throw the bird for the girl that I was with then, they threw her on the floor and shit. But I was like, mate, I was like, we're not fucking aggressive. Like, I'm not an aggressive person.
Yeah, what
Drugs on, I know, like the drugs on the back seat and it's mine. Like straight away, I said it's mine, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm going a long away for a long time for this," and I, and I was just like, "Shit."
yeah, but at least you weren't one of them people that blamed it on the girlfriend, because there are people that do stuff
Yeah,
like
because
that.
this is a conversation I've had many a time. So, because the contract that I had that was in the middle of the car was in her name. He passed the hold rule through her window, so I could have gone, nothing to do with me. She asked for a lift.
Yeah.
The phone's not mine. The phone's not in my name. Any texts between them two is nothing to do with me. So I've said in the police station, because I've always said, no matter what girl I've been with, I've always said, look, if you're in the car, sorry, if you ever get nicked with me, then you need to call a solicitor straight away, and they'll tell you go no comment, listen to them, do what they say.
Yeah.
I've not at this point straight away. I've not got a solicitor. All I'm thinking is this girl's never been arrested before. She knew exactly what I'd done. She's a grown ass adult. It's her choice to get involved, but I want to get her out. Her family are lovely. Like I don't want to put them through this stress. So I've
Yeah.
told the police. I said, listen, the shit's mine. Blah blah blah. Anyway, cut long story short, then they come back and they was like, listen, we're not having it. She said because them two are going no comment, and she was like, how do we know that they're not forcing you into saying it? I was like, mate, my criminal record starts at 13. This girl's never been arrested before. And I've got previous for drugs.
Yeah.
I'm a known drug dealer. Like, you guys have been after me forever. Like, why are you even playing this card for? Anyway, so straight after that, I've got a solicitor. I was like, no, fuck this. Like, I was dumb anyway not to, but at the end of the day, the drugs were mine. Like, they're mine. I'm not going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
out of it. All I want was to get her out. So we get remanded, we get so we've played it cool. So I've gone in, played dumb like I don't know her. So when we've gone through, you know, when you get walked through from reception to the wing,
Mm.
I was saying to her, I was like, listen, I was like, just all you got to do is keep your head down, yeah. Don't get in no trouble, just like behave and don't cause any drama and just da da da. Speeding all the spill in front of the officer. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna put you two on the same wing. He said, I think you two are like look
So
after.
sorry, they reminded you both.
Yeah, so we got arrested because it was so much drugs. All three of us got remanded. So we was in the
Oh,
police.
I thought that they would have, because I've not been in that sort of situation. I thought they would have, because you confessed, they
Yeah,
would have released
yeah.
them.
So they tried. That's what I'm saying. They even though they knew my criminal record and all that, they weren't having a bar of it. So literally, so we go straight from the police station after 48 hours. We go to court, get remanded straight away. Bang, we're in prison. We're both in Bronzefield. So the officers fell for the
Good
fucking
old
bullshit.
Bronzefield.
Yeah. Some of them are so fucking dumb, it's unbelievable. So I swear loads. It's prison. My mouth's got worse since prison. So yeah, so we get remanded, we get put on the same wing. And you know what it's like, they always want to get you in doubles. So the next morning we've gone to the officer and we've gone, oh, we want to double up. We just played like no one knew, no one on the whole wing knew we was together until we said like towards the end. But that was the worst thing I ever done because oh man, I couldn't. I'm sorry if you're watching this ever, if you ever watch this, but I just couldn't tolerate you, and I'm pretty sure she couldn't tolerate me because I was an asshole back then, a proper asshole. But I couldn't stand her. We were rowing every day, screaming like everyone knew because of how much I was
You were
with
arguing.
her. But she like, but it was mad because it started off like where I kind of got like respect in prison. So we've gone in together, we've gone in a double. Now I've met TJ within the first like week or whatever, and TJ's got a phone. So my ex missus is getting her little group of friends, and she's in with this one girl, and TJ's told me this one girl's got a phone as well. So I've not told the missus at the time. She's not my missus now. Just made that very clear. So that girl at the time, I've not told her. And normally when you're in a relationship, like that's something you do, but her mouth's so fucking fast that I literally was just like, no, I'm not saying nothing. So anyway, one day she's come in, she's gone, oh, such and such, she's got a phone. I was like, yeah, I know. She was like, what? I was like, I know. She goes, why didn't you tell me then? I said, because I don't know her, I don't trust you, and in prison, I'm not dumb, you've got to keep your
Mm.
mouth shut. So then she's gone back and told this girl, so she's like, "I cannot believe you did not tell your own missus." I was like, "'Cause I'd like to think that people would have my back the same in here, because 'cause I've already clocked in 2 weeks how everybody look, well, I've met TJ and you've already told me this girl that's supposed to be your pal."
Oh, nothing's a secret if
No, and
TJ's
but
anywhere in
nothing's
the
a secret in
vicinity.
prison anyway. Nothing's a secret. That everyone knows what time you've gone for a shite,
Yes.
everything. So I've just started gelling with everybody. Um, it's tough, it's scary. First 2 weeks, the hardest I think anyone will tell you. It's
It
sca
takes a
even
while to adjust, doesn't it?
yeah, it really I didn't even wanna come out of myself at first, and it's not so much, I'm like a pussy, it's just more oh, I'm glad you like the banter. It's just more that it's the unknown. It's like I have a mild, very, very mild form of autism, so, like, change for me blows
Mm.
my mind, like, it'll make me cry for a week. Like, when I moved from one house block to another, I was in my room crying because I couldn't mentally cope with the
Yeah.
change. And literally, so like, yeah, so that's what it was more than anything. It was like, I can't cope, I can't deal with this. I'm never gonna survive. I knew I was looking at anything from like 4 to fucking 8 years to serve. Like you know you're doing a big bird.
So was you obviously worried about things like losing where you live, like all sorts of
No,
things on the outside?
nah, do you know what the mad thing was? It was like after I started settling, first 4 weeks, I always knew I'd have a home, no matter what happens. Like the flat was gone. I was paying cash every week anyway. It was all dodgy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay.
so it was not like it was fine. It was I paid by the week and that was it. They made money. They rented a flat out. They built in their house. So I always knew I'd have a roof no matter what, whether it was with my dad, my mum, my best
Yeah.
mate. Like I'm always mint. So that never bothered me. After I started to settle after about a month and I started learning my ways and like getting to know people and you kind of like it's horrific, but it's not too bad. And it started become I think for me why I enjoyed prison was because it was a break. And I used to tell everyone it was like a holiday. I didn't have to worry about my phone blowing up. I didn't have to worry, "Oh my god, I've just spent 10 grand this week gambling. How the fuck am I gonna make
Yeah.
this back?" I didn't have to run around after work selling drugs and not getting home till 11 o'clock at night and not even having dinner and then getting back up and repeating the day. Like,
Mm.
I never realised how much I needed to have that break, so it be kind of become I didn't care about anything else. Nothing else mattered. So at this point, I've had a visit with my dad for the first time. Never seen my dad cry before. He's upset. He's like, "You know how much drugs ruined your life." He was like, how could you sell them? Like, how could you do this?" And this is another thing is people my parents were oblivious. They didn't know of my drug use until it got bad and I tried to take my life. Like, I hid everything well. I stayed up in
Mm.
my room. I was quite depressed as a teenager because no one knew. I knew I was gay at a young age. You couldn't come
Mm.
out then, like, you couldn't just tell
Yeah,
people.
was that hard, if you don't
Oh,
mind me
yeah, that was
asking?
another reason that blew my mind, like, I knew I fancied women, I didn't know how to deal with it, it wasn't normal, so I just wanted to block it out, like, I had, like, 2 boyfriends, didn't like it, I tried to do the right thing, what they said was the right thing back then.
Mm. You
Uh
can't make yourself
no, and I
be
couldn't,
attracted to someone.
literally. Then my so-called best mate when I was around 18 told everyone. I told him
Oh.
and he told everyone, but you know what? It was the best thing ever because it was just like woman after woman. It was just great. It was like
Oh,
everyone's
really?
yeah. He thought he was being spiteful and like, "Ha ha," because he's that kind of person. He's like
Yeah.
he's like he's got a good arm, but when he's horrible, and that's he didn't do it to be. If that was not done from a nice place. He done
Yeah.
it behind my back, and they told everyone. But literally, like I was a player. Not, and it sounds like I'm being a big headed, but I was a bit of a player when I was like 20. I don't think anyone can say they weren't.
Yeah, yeah.
So it outed me, and then you got that back then. I really was the only gay in the village, like literally. Like, I was because you could. I'm talking
So
about
what was you doing then? Turning the others gay? How
literally.
d ha
They would I remember just being in we walked into First Bowl, it was like a bowling place, and this girl
Yeah.
comes to me like, "You fancy me, don't you?" I was like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "You
That's
fancy
the thing,
me, don't
some
you?"
people think if somebody says that they're gay, they
It's the most
automatically
basic
think
thing, yeah.
Yeah, like say a girl, say for example, I was with like, especially when you're younger, like if you said to your friends like, oh, I'm gay or I'm bi or whatever, automatically people start thinking, oh, they must fancy me then.
100%.
Just because you're gay doesn't mean you fancy every girl.
I get it all the time, and like, so literally, it was the best thing that ever happened to me in that aspect. And I think that's kind of like where I was like, you know what, I can't. It gave me something. It was one door closed that
Yeah.
literally took, like, I had used drugs to block out my with. So it was another push where it was like, yeah, I want out of being on all this. Like, I can start living my life now. Um, so yeah, I can't remember what was that now. So yeah, so that's so. Where was I before that? Now.
You was talking about
Where was I at?
um, God no, oh don't, I've got
But
ADHD,
yeah,
my brain goes.
have
You were
you?
talking about in prison, and then you got onto the relationship with the girl, and then how you settled in, but it took you
Yeah,
a while to settle in.
I think I don't know how I got from there, but I was talking about my dad saying about how, like,
That was it.
yeah,
Yeah.
how yeah, why, why would I want to sell drugs knowing how much it ruined my life? And he was so disappointed in me. And I remember I was wounded. I was so wounded. I went back to my cell and I was like, "God, I've really, really hurt my dad, like, to another level." And literally, yeah, like, it just hit different, and I was like, "I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna sell drugs anymore. I'm not gonna sell drugs in prison." Because I thought, I was thinking all sorts. I'll have a line outside. I'll have a line in here. Like, I'll make money. You can make more money in prison than you do on the out. So anyway, so I
Yeah,
made
it's
that
true.
decision.
You can.
Yeah, massively. So I made that decision to stop all that. So literally, I spent 8.5 months on remand. That was a fucking nightmare. Anyway, so the girl I was with at the time, after 2 months, her parents put up 10 grand bail, and she got out on bail because obviously she's got no criminal
Can you
record.
do that in England?
Yeah, someone tried to call me a liar, and I was like, all right.
I didn't know. I don't think you were lying, but I just never
No,
heard of
so
that.
Sean Atwood's video said, "Oh, she seems like a lovely girl, but you can see she's lying the whole way through. You can't do that in England." All right, okay, okay. I'm pretty sure if I reached out to her and
Crazy.
asked her for a paper,
Mum, where were you at?
yeah. So literally, it's a thing. It's not that easy.
How
So
did you even get the opportunity to do that? Obviously solicitors, but
yeah, so it all goes through the solicitors. You have to speak to the solicitor. You have to offer money. Then he obviously then goes to the court. They look at what risk you are. So, like, let's just say for me, if my parents said I'm going to put up £1 million, they probably still would have said no because of my flight risk. Because at the end of the day, I'm looking at quite a big sentence. They're not going to want to let me take a chance of flight going off.
well, to Italy, you could have left and gone to
Exactly,
that.
it doesn't help when you're foreign as well. So they've put up a 10 grand bond. She's not got a criminal record, and bearing in mind, I've already admitted to it being mine
Yeah.
in the police station. So they probably the judge probably looked at the paperwork and went, "Why is she even in there?" Like, it, you know what I mean? If they looked into it, so she gets out after 2 months, and then come trial, so they put me up on conspiracy to supply class, conspiracy, and then they put me up for dealing. So they knew that if I went not guilty on conspiracy, which I was gonna, it would fall down onto the dealing part.
Yeah.
Get a hefty sentence.
Could you just, before we move on, explain what the difference is in them two charges?
Yeah, so to conspire something makes it a million times worse than actually doing it. So, like, basically, it's better way to give you an example, like on a burglary, but to conspire something is exactly the same thing. That the way they look at it. So
To
let's
like plan it out and get
yeah.
other
So
people
let's
involved.
say I say to you, right? Can you go and burgle my next door neighbour's house? There's a safe in there with 50 grand. The keys under the mat. Just go and do your thing.
Yeah.
You get caught doing the burglary, and then they see the messages between me and you.
Right. Okay.
I get it, but I didn't go in the house, but I get a bigger sentence than you because without me, it never would have happened. So I'm the brains of the operation. So you conspire.
Right.
So if you're
Okay. So I never even. heard of this
Yeah,
sort of thing.
it come out probably about 20 years ago, but they use it now for everything. So you can get
Right.
done. So if the police come and raid you now, and there's text messages just setting up someone to pick up coke, and you're not doing anything, you're not even making anything, you'll get a hefty sentence. You don't
I
need to get
didn't
caught with
even
drugs.
know this.
Yeah, you do
Of
not
the
need to
amount of
get
times
caught.
I could have got in trouble,
I know
like getting something for a friend or
uh,
getting a friend.
one boy got 4 years just from text on his phone. They never caught him with no drugs.
Oh,
So
that's a bit much.
yeah, well, it's your proven drug dealing. Why do they need the drugs?
God.
Yeah, people don't
Did he
realise.
do it off his normal mobile, not a
Yeah,
burner?
yeah, yeah. Hence, and that's when it started coming into play that people realised that when you delete messages, they're not deleted; they just sit up in the cloud.
Yeah.
They can get
What
down.
about the old style phones? That isn't stored in the cloud, is it? Say like a Nokia 3310 and using it as a burner phone, that doesn't get stored, does it?
No, no. I don't know if they can still. I think they can still download any. I know for a fact the iPhones and obviously the Samsungs and all that they can download,
Mm.
but they can download any messages from the last 2 years. But yeah,
Yeah.
don't
Even
text.
if you
It's a
deleted it,
golden
yeah.
rule. It's a golden rule. Just don't text. Like it's as simple as that. So anyway, so yeah, so I'm up on this conspiracy charge. So it gets to court, and I've said to them, look, it needs to get dropped on her. Like, why are you even making her come to court? I speak to the barrister, so they speak to the prosecution. We cut a deal that if I go guilty on conspiracy, they'll drop because I was going to go not guilty because I didn't conspire shit. I picked up drugs, I was selling them. There's no
Mm.
conspiracy in it because there's no one beneath me. So it was a
Yeah.
bullshit charge. It never would have stood in court because I didn't conspire anything. If I'm picking drugs up off somebody, yeah, and then I'm selling them, I'm not setting someone else up to do the crime. So
Sorry, go on.
the conspiracy is not there, but they knew what they was doing because they could get me in prison for longer if I just went
Mm.
guilty on it. So I do a deal with the prosecution, so they drop all charges on the ex, and I take a conspiracy charge.
Do you think that if you'd put it on your ex, that they could have said, well, you conspired to get her to do it because you took her there and you were the one that gave her the contacts? Do you reckon they could have got you in that way?
Prove it. Oh, the phone's hers.
It wouldn't have been able to prove it because it was on her contract,
That
wasn't
was
it?
the name, so I was like, that's not me. I
Oh, okay, yes, yes, sorry. It wasn't off your
Yeah,
phone, was it?
if they caught me with a phone and then I was saying it was her, then they could try and do that. But I've admitted to it, so there's no reason for me to
Yeah.
a conspiracy charge. But they're smart. You can't ever outdo them. You can sometimes be a step ahead, but they'll always fuck you over in the end. So
A a burner phone is like
a ten
it's just,
pound phone,
yeah, it's just a
£10
street name for a
yeah.
phone that you use for crimes. Just like an old phone that's like not like a smartphone, definitely not a smartphone. People will have it to like, set up drug deals or crimes because it's less easily detected. It's the
And
only
there's
way I can
no like
describe it.
tracker on it. Like, see how like the iPhone, they know exactly where you are. Like if you make a phone call from it, then they know exactly where you are. So
Oh, they can even tell. There's been crimes, sorry, going off a bit off topic. There's been crimes where people have left their phone at home, committed a crime, and then they've proven that they weren't at home on their phone because the phone activity completely wasn't being used. And normally it was being used like all over the place, and all of a sudden it just went dead in the whole time frame that they were there committing the murder. So if you're going to commit a crime, leave it on a long video on a series on Netflix. No, I'm joking.
it's true though. Don't take your freaking phone, man. They're dangerous. So yeah, so she gets it dropped. I have an argument about me putting in a guilty plea. Anyway, cut a long story short, they sentenced me to 11 years. I get my third off,
Oh
dropping.
my God, what was that like?
You know what? I was buzzing because I kept saying the whole time, I was like, if they give me more than 4 years, because like I said, I was on remand for 8.5 months. So I was like, if they give me more than 4 years, I'm not going to cope. Like, I'm not going to cope. But you forget that you've got no choice. You've got
Yeah.
no escape route other than taking your own life. So I was like, I'm not going to cope. I'm not going to cope. I got on with everybody. Like, I gelled with everybody. So it wasn't even like I was having obviously the tough time is being in prison and everything being taken from you, like your family and
Mm.
stuff. So Yeah, so anyway, but when I broke it, when I heard 11 years, I was like 5.5 years. But then all of a sudden, then she's like, da 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 da, da, and that takes it down to 7 years, 8 months, 4 months, whatever it was. She was like, to serve 3 years, 8 months, do half of that 3 years, 8 months. I was like, sweet. I was like, God's done this. That's when I realized, like, I don't necessarily say I'm a Christian now, but 100 million% believe there's one God. I don't believe that there's all these
Mm.
different gods, but respect to everybody in their religion. But for me, there's one God, because there's no way I've been on my journey, got through everything I've got through, and just be where I am. I should have been in prison 10 times easily throughout my life, but I was put in prison at the right
I
time
should be dead.
mental my to change, to grow as a
Mm.
person. I was an amazing friend, but partner, I wasn't that great. And am I perfect now? I'm far from it, but I'm learning, and I've changed so goddamn much from when I went before I went into prison. So yeah, and then so I was like 3 years, 8 months. I was like, that's like 4 months below what I said I couldn't cope. It's like I've been given just below what I said I couldn't cope.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, all right, you've got this. Then soon as you know you've been sentenced, your sentence becomes different. It's like a relief. So I was relieved that I got under 4 years. I was relieved that I wasn't spending every day. How long am I going to get? How long am I going to get? What's
Mm.
going to be? So that actually was a relief. Yeah, I was happy when I heard it. I was happy because, like I said, I thought I was going to get longer than that. I thought I was going to be serving about 5 years. So
Yeah.
it was, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Do you know what? It's weird because when girls that were in for serious charges, because Bronzefield, it's maximum security, but they hold people on remand as well. But so they hold people who've done serious crimes like murders. I'm probably not to say that on here, but I just did.
Mm.
I don't think you're meant to say murder and stuff on here, are you?
I think
So
that's, I don't know,
flag
like,
it.
TikTok's really funny, but not that you get violations, but not on here. I've said paedophile, all that stuff on all my videos and
Oh,
stuff.
thanks, Fran.
Huh. It was me. It
Ruined
wasn't
the
you.
live by saying that. I didn't say the P word, that was you. No, I'm joking. I forgot what I was going to say now. Right, hang on, so to do with murder. Oh, yeah, so I'd see girls, they'd go to court for like murder and they'd come back and we'd be like, what happened? What happened? Because you'd sit there, even though it wasn't you, you'd be like waiting for them to come back. Even if they came back late in the night and you're all locked up, everyone would be shouting for that.
Yeah,
Just come here, come here, come here.
yeah.
Like, come over and tell us what you got, what you got. And this girl just come up casually, and I'm not going to mention her name. And we were like, what happened? She goes, got 30 years, looks like I'm here for the long run, and just sipped her coffee and walked off. Like a lot of them have already accepted it before it comes
Yeah,
because they're there on remand for so
yeah.
long.
Yeah, especially with, like, murder, you're there for years before that shit gets sentenced. I mean, look at Lucy Letby. She was on
Mm.
remand for 2 years, wasn't it, or something?
Or was it? Was it that long?
Yeah, she was on remand for a good while, but she just wa
Oh,
it
it's
wasn't
horrible.
until she got sentenced that everyone found out how bad it was.
Mm. I've had a few people, a few Lucy Letby fans leaving some not very happy comments on my video.
Oh,
How do you know? How are you so sure she's guilty?
oh,
And
yeah,
stuff
just
like this.
I had
You
it all
obviously
over
didn't watch the trial.
fuck's sake.
Like, no, I don't know what's wrong with people. It obviously was her. Like,
Just let people get on with it, and then you're not
guilty is
concentrate.
sin, mate.
So, where was I?
Sorry, I
No, you're
distracted
right.
with my story. So you were saying about when you finally got sentenced, you felt a relief
Yeah,
because
so relieved, yeah, so that was cool. So I've gone back, get my head in the game. I'm doing really good jobs, like, as in supporting other women. Like, when I was doing, like, the meet and greet, like the red coat, so I'd meet
yes,
them, come
yeah,
back in, I'd support them. If they were really vulnerable, I'd visit them every day. I'd make sure they had everything in their cell they needed, like aerials, so their TV worked, a pillow, all
yeah.
that
Because people
sort of
nick
stuff.
them.
No, mate, it took me 10 days to get a pillow. 10 days, and it was only because of a red coat that came to see me that I got a pillow in the end. That's what I'm saying. So it was like
So
everything
you
that
was
I went
literally
through.
sleeping with no pillow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was using a jumper, and literally, like, so I
Wow.
that's why I done the jobs, because I wanted to support women. I wouldn't. It'd be like, listen, it'd be like 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, because it's late that the girls come back, and I'd refuse to leave the cell. No, you need to go and get an aerial. You need to get this. She needs
Mm.
therapy, because there's no way, because that's why we had to go back with them, because they were putting girls in cells with no TVs working. It's like we was watching The Officers, and I'd refuse. I'd be like, "No, you put her in another cell then," because you can't put someone that's just come into prison with no TV, nothing, in a fucking four walls, not knowing what to expect. So like, but I couldn't even watch TV at first. I couldn't even. My mind was blown. So yeah, so I was doing them jobs. I was a listener. I was a recovery mentor. And then after, I think it was about 14 months, I I went to send. I moved prisons. So, and that was mint. I lived on a resettlement wing, so our doors never got locked. They couldn't lock our doors, and it's like Butlins, and we
Was
was
that
like
in Bronzefield, or was that when you was
send.
sent? That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah. So
yeah.
anyone that doesn't know, on Fran's channel, we've done some lives on there as well. So definitely, if you're interested and you're enjoying this, then go and have a look at Fran's channel. She's got, apart from that as well, she's got some really good videos on there as well for anyone who's just started watching and didn't hear the start. So I definitely, yeah. Do you want to say it again? It's UK ex female prisoner. Have I got
Yeah.
it right?
Ex-UK female prisoner,
Oh,
something.
that's it. I always get the UK and
Yeah, if you put in Fran, because I was actually doing a recording on Sunday. I was up in London all day doing this, doing some recording with these people, and we was talking about it, and he put in Fran, ex-prisoner, and it literally just comes straight up.
oh, it comes straight up. Okay, so if you get confused, just do that then.
Yeah.
I've interrupted your story again.
No,
Sorry, I can't. I just can't.
you're good anyway. No, honestly, it's fine. Listen, you're the second person that I've shared my story with. I've only ever
I
shared
know, and I'm
with that
so
one.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
And obviously you're welcome. And obviously, yeah, on Sunday, the recording was from like 10 till 6, 10 in the morning till 6 at night. But that was my whole story then. So that's not gone live. So you're the second person that's actually live and active with my story. So
so is this another YouTuber? Or I know you can't say too
no,
much about
no,
it.
no, no, no. It's something that's going on, UK crime. It's
So
something.
on
So
TV.
yeah, so it's more going to be on the social media side of things. And in all honesty, I asked her again Sunday morning. I was like, "What is it?" She was like, "It's UK crime channel. It's going on, or something." But I was so like, with mum coming home, my head has been up my arse. Like, I'm tired, like
Exciting though, isn't it?
buzzing. I've been at work Saturday. I was up late. It's hard work. It's hard work being
Yeah.
doing like, because she like calls me every 5 minutes, and it's like, oh,
Oh, bless
oh,
her.
I come home from work, and then like obviously it's my mum, I do it, but literally
Yeah, it's
I don't even
hard.
know where I'm going. All I know is I'm going to London. I'm doing some recording all day, but it was sick. So basically, they built something for mum, because they was like, it's these carpenters, and that
Oh,
recording with, and they was asking me obviously all about my story, and it was obviously all being recorded, and they asked for something. Who would you want to make something special for? So obviously, I said, "Mum." I said, like, because I need a tray, like, so because she can't get out of bed. So it'd be nice to have a tray. Like the ones that I've got are like plastic ones, and if I push the legs too like easy, they just pop out of the tray.
oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, cut long story short, they made this beautiful tray. Like they found
Oh,
this really light wood, but they also made this big stand for it to sit on, so she can lift it. They made another piece of wood, but it's not when you say wood, you can't really. I'll have to show you pictures. I'm not allowed to air it.
yeah.
They air it, but so then they made this like stand. So if I want to sit and have dinner with my mum, you take the tray off, put the like lid on from the bottom, which goes at the bottom. You can use it as a shelf. You take it out.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's beautiful, yeah. It's really, really, really nice. So, yeah, so for any of you guys that don't know, so I'll just go into, I'll flip a bit in. So I do my prison sentence, there's really, really high times, there's really low times. But
Mm.
in October 2019, I found out that my mum was terminally ill with cancer, and I just started to do my rottles. So luckily, I was getting to come home, and then obviously lockdown happened a few months later. So I wasn't going to work outside the prison because I was working in a hotel. So when I was at work with the hotels, I'll have my phone, and it goes in a locker before you come back in the prison. There's lockers, you know, like the visitor lockers for a visit, where they go in there. And so I was used to having my phone. I was used to staying at home once a month, having day releases and all that sort of stuff. So that was all stripped from me. And in the January, my mum's like, "I can't do the chemo." She was like, "I can't do it." She was like, "I know it's selfish." She said, "But obviously, I think I've explained this to you, didn't I, the other day?" So yeah, so I'll make it
Mm.
short and sweet. So she chooses that she doesn't want the chemo no more. They told her that she'd have 3 months to a year to live, and they obviously they tried her on different meds, and they've kept her stable ever since. I'm lucky, I'm blessed. But she's had this is her second stroke now. This time around, she literally come out of hospital on Friday. She had a blood clot to the brain, caused a second stroke. So she was in hospital for 3 months. That's why I've not been on my channel. And she come home Friday, but she's got carers 4 times a day, and she literally can't get out of bed. She can't do anything. She could barely work a controller. I just literally paid full Sky in that. So like you, because she's not the same person. She doesn't remember. So I just got all upgraded on the Sky. So she got the little thing. I was like, just press the button and say drama. Like,
Oh,
do you know what I mean? You can just voice into it. But it's so yeah, so that's why I wanted to trade, because like she's got the hospital bed and everything in there. Like they'd done it last time when she had the stroke. They thought she was going to die, so they just put the hospital bed and everything in, just like let her go at home. And she's done a 360, and then now she's fucking gone and had another stroke. So it's been a tough journey since coming out, and that's why I had the tray made anyway.
oh, that is so lovely that they've done that. I can't wait to see. Well, obviously, when you can see the pictures of
Yeah,
it.
I'll WhatsApp you over the little video that I
Yeah. Oh, that's
doing.
lovely. And like, definitely let me know when this thing's being aired. I so want to watch it.
100%. Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I'll put something up on YouTube as well. I'll let you know
Yeah.
first, but I'll put something up on YouTube when it's coming out.
And I want to say thank you. I know I keep interrupting, but thank you so much. You've got so much going on. Like you're working, you're looking after your mum, and you've still spent the time to come on here and share. Can't even speak.
Really.
Share your story, and like I'm so grateful. Like, and you've become like a very good friend of mine. I feel
Yeah,
like I've known you for
I've got
years.
love for you, and the thing is you've come on my channel as well, so it works both ways. And in all honesty, like this is the first, like when I do this, is like my little bit of time out, and like even though she's only been home like a week, it's a lot. Like it's a lot, and
Mm,
it's every 5 minutes she's calling me because she can't do anything. So I've just said, Mum, you can't call me. I said, if it's an emergency, call me. I said, it's not that deep. I can come and see you, but this is my time now, so it's like my little bit of time out. I love
yeah.
stuff like this, and I know you're genuinely grateful. That's why, like,
No, I am.
I
And
haven't
your
done,
story's really interesting.
and yeah, so that's
Like
why
it
I don't
is.
go to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, like, and share like my story, if that makes sense. I don't even put it on my own channel, really. Like, people get bits of it. If you watched everything, you could put clippets of it together, but. And there's probably so much more of my story as well, but you just get so like distracted, don't you? You think of one thing, start talking about another, and
Yeah, I'm terrible for that. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Why do I keep getting things saying this message is held for review? What is it, something really out of order?
it must.
Someone's trying to set me up to Tinder again.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at.
Right, for those of you who don't know, and if you're watching, you're a prick. Somebody's taken my email address, right? And they're trying to like sign me up for Tinder. And I keep getting messages to my mobile that's linked to my email saying, "This is your Tinder code."
No.
Like, what's going on?
No, thank you guys. I just see some people saying thank you guys for
Yeah,
tuning in and asking the questions or whatever, and just yeah, staying subscribed. Like it means a lot. I will now, obviously now Mum's home, I can work so much more on the channel. We can do more lives, like, we can do some more work together.
yeah, definitely. With this, hopefully something coming up in the future. Obviously, we cannot talk about it now, but
You love it, don't you? Bring every time. Stop it. You're gonna make me slip up.
what's that with me bringing it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I'm so excited. Oh God, that was a really bad echo of my voice. I sound like a witch. But
I can't get this bloody thing off my. You know when you scroll up, then I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, look.
of what, of the messages? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is if you don't mind, if there's anyone that wants to ask any questions,
Yeah, fire up.
um, especially anything for Fran to answer, as this is like her story, then yeah, now's your chance.
Whenever I ask this, everyone
What?
just
No one's gonna say anything now.
yeah. I'm like,
It's all right. They might just be thinking. We'll give them a
yeah.
minute. Yeah.
Oh
But
man.
have you had any snow up where you are? I don't actually know what area you're living in, but
Reading?
did you get any? You haven't got snow
No.
up there.
No. Where are
It's
you?
up down Eastbourne, in between Bright. Whereabouts is Reading then?
Near
Is that
London?
near London? That's what's that outside of London. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm in between Brighton and Hastings, right along the seafront. I don't know
Oh.
why I'm doing this. Like it's a map.
I do that though. My dad, he talks Italians. They're all like that. Da, 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 da. And I think it's just habit.
My mum does it a lot. Talks with her hands.
Yeah, that's where you get it from then, guaranteed. I said, no one's got nothing to say then, fine. And he goes sulks
Oh,
down
here we go.
low. Oh. Did you spend time in Seg and for his how long? I'll be praying for you and your mum. Oh, thank you. No, I didn't. No. No, I was good. I was a yes sir, no sir prisoner. And I literally will never ever do that again because it is so hard. Like you know what you want to be on the right path. So I did everything by the book. Well, I was a little bit corrupt. I think the officers must have known, but because I was so respectful, so like I was a lot, I'd have banter with them, but within reason. I didn't like cross
Yeah.
lines. So I think they knew like me and my mates, like, and their mates had a phone and stuff like that. That's how I got some pictures of myself, but I never done
Oh,
anything.
you got them?
Yeah, I got pictures of myself. Yeah,
Have
it's on my
you?
yeah. If you go on my shorts as well, like on my
I'll
yeah,
have to
go on my
look.
shorts, have a look. Yeah, you can see myself.
Oh, that would be so cool to have a
It's snowing one day, and I was just sat there, took a picture out of the snow. It's well cool, but it's like Butlins, but you can't really see it because it's all snow. But all the building, it's just wooden huts.
Well, is this in Send? It must be in
Yeah.
Send. Yeah, I have to say Bronzefield looks like a blooming mental asylum.
Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. I can't remember what I was saying. Cool. Miles at World Droop doesn't have off the cuff. But national services should be brought back.
National Services. I'm being really dumb.
You're not alone. It's all right.
What do you mean? What's National Services?
It's time to die now.
What is it? Well, I'm not even going to get. I'm not going to guess because you're going to make. Look at you. You're like Google. I
Oh,
can't
I'm
Google
actually
because
not. I
I'm
was
using
just
my
looking at
phone.
the message I just got.
Oh,
Right.
I thought you were going to Google it. The
No.
army. What? So do you mean like? Do you think people should have to sign up
Do you
like
know?
automatically? Is that what the question meant? Oh, well, you must serve in the military. No, no,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't because they're. Oh, I don't want to get into politics.
Yeah,
I feel like the governments are a bit too corrupt and they're causing wars left, right, and centre, and they shouldn't send people who don't want to go.
the worst prison officer I ever met.
Ugh. Oh, look at me, right, smiling with
Do you know
suspense.
what? Do you know what? I prefer the prison officers that were by the book, that were miserable, and you could not get away with nothing. The worst prisoner I ever met has probably got to be someone that I knew for a fact fancied me, but would play games with me, like safe it,
Really?
knowing
What
full well
prison was that in?
send, send. They're bad. It's weird. They're weird. Like, don't get me wrong. There's some like I get that you can find a connection with someone and you can't help it. Like, but there's some real. Listen, there's officers in there, yeah, that would tiptoe down the landing to try and catch people out of their.
Mm.
I'm talking literally on tiptoes. They were that
Hold the keys.
literally. If you're on sliders, IEP. In sliders again, IEP. Get your third IEP. You kicked off the privilege wing, and you're back up main block. Like there's some proper Hitlers, but with them, you knew where you stood.
Yeah. So for
Everybody
people who don't know, you're not allowed to wear. Sorry, go on.
Everyone had the same treatment unless you were black. Some of them were racist. Some
Oh
of
yeah.
them because they're sort of country people. They're old and they're white, and I know for a fact I got treated better than like my friends.
I heard that some of the girls that were in Bronzefield who'd been in Send said that it happened. That was a lot going on with that in Send. They were given Christmas presents, and the black ladies and the mixed race ladies weren't given the same sort of
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
like they were given chocolates out of something, and they didn't give it to the. But that's obviously what I
was
got
gonna
told.
say, like, maybe if the officers had like a tub of quality streets in the office, but
Yeah, like normally, well, they used to come around. I don't know about Send, but Bronzefield, they're like on Easter and that they'd come around and give you like a little bag of like little Easter eggs. They basically saying that the girls got Christmas chocolates and they didn't because
no,
they were
they've
black.
never done that. That's one thing, because you know why? Because it's done by the chaplaincy, so that never happened. We get
Right.
a bag of Christmas bags, so that's them talking shit like that. Because I know for a fact, because I'm straight up, I've seen it. I will get treated better than my really good pal Lee that I met in prison, and she's black. Yeah, by officers, and I not own it. But never did she not get a present the same as what we got. Like, that's bullshit. Because like I said, it's the chaplaincy that do the eggs and the Christmas presents and stuff. It's nothing
Right.
to do with the prisons. So
That's what I mean, it goes to show
I
you
wasn't, I
can't tell
wasn't
when people are telling the truth.
I wasn't there when they were there. I didn't witness it, so maybe it was true, but I'm telling you that never happened throughout my whole sentence. Did anybody get a different kind of present or get left out? Not one person did. It just wouldn't have happened in the uproar. So, like, again, it might be a different scenario, but they are racist in Send. 101%. There's some racist officers in there.
Wonder why they like that more in Send than Bronzefield.
Country. So Bronzefield, you've got to remember, it's nearer to London, so you've got all
Yeah, more multicultural.
there. Whereas here you haven't. I think we counted 5 or 6 black officers.
Do you know what was really not strange? But because down in Eastbourne, there are obviously different races, but majority are white people. And when I was in prison, I had a lot of friends that were mixed race, black, Indian, or whatever like that. And it was a bit weird when I come out. It was really strange because I was thinking like, there's hardly any mixed race or like black people. There's like it seemed weird because it was such a change.
Mm.
But that's just one thing that happened when I come out. I realised, like, I just felt like, oh, like you don't notice it without.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was a bit different.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get it.
but yeah, no. There was a couple of officers that got on my nerves, but the majority of them I was all right with. I mean, I did cause a protest. I've told you about that, haven't I? I told you about that.
I vaguely remember something.
They messed me about with my vapes, right? They messed my order up for my vapes. And I've been asking them all week, and you know what it's like. Oh, yes, I'll sort it out. Oh, don't worry, I'll sort it out. And it got to Friday, and I was getting really annoyed because I knew that over the weekend they definitely weren't sorting it out. And so I was like, right, I've had enough now. If you don't sort my vapes out by the end of the day, there's going to be problems. Like before bang up, I want my vapes. It got to bang up, and they started locking everyone away. And I was like, me and this lot, and there's like 8 other girls. I was like, we're not going in our cell till I get my vapes, right? So someone turned the radio on. Everyone was like twerking and dancing, and let's get all the other officers to come up. And they were trying to talk us down. Do you know what? I got my vapes.
Yeah, if you have
We all got nicked. We got arrested. You got a nick in. So we got arrested inside a prison, and you get taken to a little holding cell.
I know you got a way to go in. Yeah, I got caught with tobacco in my room, and they'd done that to me.
Did you?
Oh, thank you, Scarlett.
It's funny. Like, 'cause a lot of people don't know that you can get arrested inside prison.
I know you do. You get arrested, and then the next day you get handed papers, like your court papers, and then on that day you have to go and sit in a little locked room, like with like 6 other people, when you can't breathe. And
Oh mate, they put some. I'm not. I've got mental health problems, so I'm not being horrible, right? This girl was kind of scary, right, and talking all sorts of crazy, and I'm like, oh my god, like there was only me in there as well. So I was just trying to like talk to him, watch what I was saying, because I didn't want him to go off on a tangent, because they obviously weren't well. And I was like, oh god, like I was stuck in there with this person, and it's not that big. And it's literally just like, it's like if you got arrested and you got taken to the local station. That's basically what the room's like, with just a hard bench. Didn't even get a blue plastic mat in there. was a downgrade from the local police station.
So, can you bear with me for 2 seconds? I just want to go and check on my mum because the TV's gone off, and I'm wondering if she can't do it. I
Yeah,
won't.
that's okay. If you've got to go now, we can end the live because you've told your story and you need, you know,
Yeah,
you
cool. I'm
need
just going
some,
to check on her and make
you
sure
need
she's
a bit of
all
time
right.
to yourself. You've been working and obviously you got your mum and that.
This is my
So,
time to myself. This is me time. I like this.
oh, okay. I don't mind carrying on. I was just thinking of you,
Yeah.
like you've got
No,
things to go and do.
I'll go and just go and check on her and just make sure she's all right and all ready for bed and stuff. So, but listen, let me know when you're free. We'll jump on again and do this again. You got
Yeah, definitely. And then hopefully I'm going to try and think of some ideas, some things we can do in the future.
yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
have to have a video call off here and have a proper
yeah,
chin match.
brainstorm.
Yeah, but if you get bored over the weekend, literally, I've got no plans. I'm gonna go and see my old man and just stay here, sort some stuff out, and just chill. So just give me a shout if you want to go live.
Yeah, yeah. I will do. And thanks so much. I
No, no
really
worries at all.
appreciate you
Thank
coming
you for having
on.
me on. Appreciate it.
And thank you everyone for coming and watching. So I'm just
And you know the drill. If you're not subscribed, jump over to my channel and subscribe. Yeah. Thanks.
yes, definitely, because Fran's got loads of prison stuff. Mine's a bit of a mixture. Fran's is like all prison based and stuff like that. So if you're interested in prison time, prison story times, anything like that, then definitely go check Fran's out. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And if you're not subscribed to me either, then
Yeah.
subscribe because I've got some other things. Cause sometimes people just pop on and they're not subscribed. And yeah, please like and subscribe. And God, I sound like a proper beg.
Do you know what?
And
That's what
please,
I like. No, but do you know what my brother used to say to me? He's like, "You've got to." And when I started watching other people's and they do, like, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, you know what to do. Like sometimes you have to do it. It cringed me out at first, but now I just do it because it is what it is. I'm not here to be like loved or whatever. If people like me, it's a bonus because that's what it's about. If people
yeah.
personality, then you're screwed. So me popping going, subscribe. It's like if you like me, you're gonna do it. If you're not, you're not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Jobs, we were, oh my god, shit, let me check if I am subscribed. And then yeah, exactly. You don't ask, you don't get.
well, some of my videos as well, like it may only be 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever. Sometimes they take me like 3 or 4 days of researching, putting things in the right order, like doing the voiceover, getting everything put together. So it does really help if people like it. It really does. Like, because when I've watched videos before, I've watched people's YouTube videos. You watch it, and you think that's a really good video, but you don't appreciate how hard sometimes it is to do a video until you start trying to do it yourself, and then you're like, oh my god, I've sat there from 4 in the afternoon till 2 a.m. in the morning researching, and like driving me mad. But yeah, so thanks so much everyone.
I was just waving goodbye because Rebecca was saying she was going. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the love to my mum. I know for a fact she'd appreciate it. Yeah, I'd stick her on a live for banter over the weekend, but she can't talk to me, so. But no, listen, give me a shout and I will speak to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right. Thanks so much,
Bye,
Fran.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
I think you've got to end it now.